Thank you. Ah, shit, it's dead. What the hell? For some reason it's dead.
Officer Willis with Austin Police Department. We got called about a physical disturbance. We had people that witnessed y'all being physical with one another.
No.
Never happened.
No.
Is there any reason why someone would believe that y'all are being physical with one another?
Not that I can think of.
What's your name, sir?
What crime am I suspected of?
Excuse me?
Texas Penal Code 3802. What crime am I suspected of?
I'm not necessarily sure what you're asking me. I explained to you why we're here. We got a call about a physical disturbance between both of you.
No. There's no physical disturbance between us.
Okay. I'm just letting you know that's why we were called here.
Yes.
Okay. And what is your name and date of birth?
What am I being arrested for?
You're not arrested. You're just detained right now due to the call that we're here.
This is not a traffic stop. So, what am I being...
For service.
We didn't call you for service.
Someone else called about a physical
I don't-
between you guys.
Was it an anonymous call or who was the witness?
Yeah. Okay. So
What is your reasonable
you're
articulable
not
suspicion?
arrested. Again, we got.
Texas Penal Code 38.02.
Yes, sir. I'm not sure why you keep repeating that. I'm explaining to you we are here.
Because it's a
lawfully.
state law regarding ID.
Okay.
So I should not have to. That don't matter.
Okay. Do you want to talk about the disturbance or not?
I told you there was no disturbance.
Okay. So I have to write a report. I need your name.
No, you don't.
Here for a lawful reason.
That don't mean jack diddly poop.
Maybe to you it doesn't.
Under the law, it doesn't, ma'am.
Are you a lawyer? Are you going to school for law?
I've had plenty of experience. I'm 49 years old, just turned 49.
So you realize
I'm a United States Navy veteran.
there are children in there?
Yes, we have a 12-year-old daughter,
Okay.
almost 13.
Again, we were called here lawfully. We're on here for a call for service. But
Call for service means nothing.
She wants to see Ursula, so I'm gonna grab Ruby and bring Ursula out here.
Whatever.
The only thing I can think of is what you and Ursula got into it out here because I wasn't even involved in that.
She's 12 years old and she doesn't have to be questioned without the accompaniment of the parent. She can have she can have her mom go back with her if that's what she chooses. But if she does not choose to go back there with you, by law, she does not have to.
So we have the authority when people are being detained to put them where we want them for the safety of the security of our investigation.
And what
Do it right
reasonable, articulable suspicion that you have that your safety is
Say safety, I said security of the investigation.
and you're talking kind of referring to Pennsylvania v. Mims, which refers to traffic stops,
That's
which
not
is
what I'm referring to. I'm just referring to security of an investigation. You're going to come back here with you.
what about her personal security?
I don't know.
You're a male.
That's fine. Everything's on camera. It's fine.
That don't mean squat. Cops violate all the time on camera. Whoa! Whoa! Hughes, back off!
Don't touch me!
Why are you arrested? What the hell are you doing?
He just wants to talk to her.
That don't... Willis?
Yes, sir.
That is considered assault and battery, unwanted touching. And she is a minor. Ursula, unclench your fists.
I'll tell you what. What if we go to the picnic table where you can still see?
She doesn't want to leave the accompaniment of a parent.
Well, you want
And you do not have the legal right to question a minor without the parents or a legal representative present.
Then we can ask. If I want to come out, she can do that.
Where's her lawyer? She has an attorney.
We need a lawyer right now.
Oh, bullshit! Bullshit!
Trying to make everything.
It's called...
Security.
Oh, so you don't believe in the Constitution? Did you not swear an oath to the Constitution? She has a Fifth Amendment right.
Right.
And a Sixth Amendment right. What? Right? What, you say rights don't matter?
That's not what I said. But she has a right, not a requirement. Those are two different things.
Right means it is a requirement, as in you cannot take it away.
Okay. All right. So let's go walk over that picture.
She has the right to refuse, Officer Hughes.
She does not.
What is she being arrested for? Bullshit, that's an unlawful detainment. What the hell are you doing to a 12-year-old? What the hell are you doing to a 12-year-old? Seriously, she's 12. She's a minor. You are violating her rights. Get a supervisor on scene now. No, now. Release her. Get a supervisor. She can stand right there. She's not going anywhere. Bullshit, it's unlawful detainment. Unlawful detainment. What is your reasonable articulable suspicion of a crime? What crime? What crime? Peggy? What? Call 911 and request a supervisor. Call your attorney now. Why? They just put her in handcuffs. We're refusing to walk with them. Hughes put his hands on her. The male cop put his hands on her.
Your daughter's not in any trouble. We just have to.
So why the hell did he put his hands on her?
We need to conduct our investigation. She wasn't being cooperative. We have to separate you.
That don't mean shit. We have the right to not be cooperative. It's called the right to remain silent. Do you know how many freaking oaths y'all are violating? How many constitutional rights? I thought Austin trained better than this. You're even violating the Eye Care Act, your policies. Yes, you are, Officer Willis.
Right, sir. Again, we have supervisor coming that can speak to you, okay? And elaborate further.
I'm going to stay with the officer. I want a female officer.
Okay.
And as a father, I will do what it takes to protect my child from unlawful hands from another man.
Okay.
You understand that, Hughes?
Yes, I do.
I have every right to self-defense and self-defense of a third party, such as my child. And you went hands-on.
Yes, I did.
You escalated.
Okay.
Did you take escalation training, or did Officer Golden teach you how to be a cop?
I don't know an Officer Golden. Take lots of different escalation courses. We had to explain exactly what we needed from her and from you.
And we have the right not to talk to you. And you
Didn't need. I wasn't asking for communication at that point.
Oh, you were just so unlawful detainment, unlawful arrest, and then you assaulted and battered my daughter.
Okay.
And I've got it on. I'm recording.
Well, am I?
Yes. Excuse me if I stand at an angle. It gets both you and Officer Will. Why do y'all have to escalate? Based upon an anonymous phone call.
I'm not going to get into the exact call that you got, so. You have a reliable witness, not an anonymous one.
Oh, yeah? Oh, let me guess. She works for CPI, which means they're stalking us in violation of the court order. CPS, CPI, Department of Children and Family Services.
I don't think that was our caller, but I don't know. Maybe.
Well, maybe you should verify who it is that called.
That wasn't me, that was it. I knew it was verified before we got here.
And maybe you should find out exactly what the hell they supposedly allege we did. Do a fucking investigation.
That's what we're in the middle of doing.
No. Harassing people is not investigating. Putting your hands on my daughter is not investigating.
Well, I tried to explain the security of our investigation. I mean, they're to be separated.
Security of an investigation.
Yes.
What the hell law is that?
What law is that?
Yeah, what law says you have a security to an investigation? Where's your warrant?
I don't need a warrant to.
In order to be able to detain and secure, as you say, you need a warrant.
I need a warrant to detain someone?
To arrest,
Okay.
or upon probable cause of a crime, not, security of an investigation. That is not a crime. What law is that? What crime does it become? Is that a felony? Is that a misdemeanor? Is that a traffic infraction? What is it, Officer Hughes?
I'm sorry, I've got other people talking in my ear at the same time, so it's difficult for me to talk about. But we don't have a traffic infraction.
Obviously.
For required identification or whatever you were mentioning with that earlier. You're right, you're not required to ID. So I don't know what.
How long have y'all been on the force? Less than 6 months? Y'all are both behaving like you're fresh out of the academy.
Okay. So I've been here with APD for almost 2 years now, with a total of 7 years in law enforcement.
Oh, woohoo. Yeah, it's because you're improperly trained somewhere else.
Okay.
Why'd you leave your other department?
Because I got a better job here. There's no disciplinary actions if that's what you're trying to get at.
Were there any possibly pending? Did you leave in lieu of an investigation?
Nope.
Because the way you just put your hands on a 12-year-old female child, Officer Hughes, do you feel proud of yourself putting your hands on a 12-year-old female child like that? Just because she did not want to go off with you alone?
So it's never a good day when we have to put hands on people. I tried to give you...
Oh, so you think it's okay to put it on my daughter? Put your hands on my daughter?
Okay, in what sense?
Well, obviously you have a complex, sir.
Okay. I'm just trying to understand what you're saying.
That you think that you have to put your hands on a female child. And you knew ahead of time she was a child, a minor. You didn't even give the opportunity to ask the mother if she would go as a witness. You immediately put your hands on her before she even had a chance to ask her mother.
So I even told her that she...
Did you not listen to what the hell I was telling you before you put your hands on my daughter?
I heard everything that you were saying. You were trying...
Obviously not. I said maybe she'll go with her mother, and but because I made that suggestion, put your hands on my daughter immediately after I said that. Now there's something wrong with that.
That's your opinion of how it happened. That's okay, but I gave her the opportunity.
I've got it recorded.
Okay. I told her if she wanted to go inside and get her mother, come out to do that, then we could do that. And she stayed on the step but didn't go inside.
You didn't give her a chance to do shit. You closed the gap and put your hands on her arm twice. 3 times, and then the 4th time was that you cuffed her. What's the ETA on the supervisor?
I don't know.
Can you request it, please?
I certainly can. I know. And the ETA has been requested. My corporal is 2 minutes away.
Corporal?
Yes.
I want a sergeant or better.
Our sergeant is also on the way. Corporal is our first line supervisor, and she's going to be first on scene, but our sergeant is also on the way.
And who's your corporal on duty tonight?
Corporal Padre.
Say again, I'm a little far away.
Corporal Padre. P-A-D-R-O.
Thank you. And who's the sergeant on duty?
Tronco.
All this because somebody called you with no specific details of anything.
Okay.
Got an 18 USC 1983 lawsuit.
Okay.
Violation of rights under color of law. Because there is no law, you colored so outside the lines, it's not funny.
All right.
What crime did you suspect my daughter of that you had to lay your hands on her? Why is she still, are you still in handcuffs, Ursel?
Yes, I am, because I refuse to go with a man officer.
So why is my daughter still in handcuffs? What crime is she accused of committing? That's not a crime. That's called self-preservation and protection.
Okay.
That's called self-defense. So my daughter would have whacked you in the gonads. That would have been perfectly fine. And she was about ready to. We taught our daughter to stand up for her rights. We're both veterans.
I can appreciate that.
No, you can't. Because you're violating the Constitution as we speak. And have been within 10 minutes of arriving.
Okay.
And if y'all want to ask, I did have a pocket knife on me, and I disarmed myself and left it in the basket of my scooter before when I saw you sitting there.
Appreciate that.
It's technically not a weapon, it's a tool, but
That's our corporal right there.
Yes, sir.
Officer Hughes, a male officer, escalated on a 12-year-old minor because she refused to walk off with him alone. Officer Hughes here thinks it's okay to take women around out of sight, especially 12-year-old female children. That is totally pedo-creepo. My daughter felt as such and refused to go with him.
Okay.
So, what does he do? He puts his hands on her and handcuffs her for no crime.
Okay. Did he request that she move?
She wanted to have a parent present during any and all questioning,
Okay.
which she has the right to do. A right.
So,
Texas constitutional rights, parental rights. They are allowed here in the state of Texas. Officer Hughes seems to think that it don't matter if someone's 12 or 82 or 102. Rights don't matter.
okay. So, we do have cameras, and they are recording the whole time. So I understand that you said you did not feel comfortable with him alone with her.
No, she didn't.
She didn't?
I didn't say a word. I let her speak for herself.
Okay, I believe
My
the
wife
remark-
let her speak for herself.
Okay, I believe the remark you said was pedo-creepo. So at no point...
In case this goes on to YouTube,
Okay.
I'm being careful of the language I am using.
Okay, well, these are not allowed to be turned off. So this records...
It doesn't matter. Cops every day commit crimes on their body cams, and it takes an act of Congress to hold them accountable.
Okay, so your complaint is that he put her in handcuffs.
My complaint is that he put hands on her to begin with,
Okay,
without a crime.
okay. Was he giving her a lawful order to do something?
No, he was not.
Officer Hughes, were you giving her an order to investigate a criminal offense?
Yes. I was trying to separate her for the security of the investigation.
What law is that?
Disobey.
An order? No. The law to separate for security. A minor has the right to be questioned in front of a parent or legal guardian or their attorney. She has an attorney.
Oh, okay.
And when I mentioned that to Officer Hughes and Officer Willis, they say it don't matter.
She's not being charged with a crime. We are merely investigating a disturbance that we were called here for.
Investigate, but investigation does not mean detainment and unlawful arrest.
If they are involved, we do have to question, yes.
How do they know she's involved with anything?
And
Because
what we do
they...
is we do separate the parties when we speak to them, so that way one party can feel comfortable.
She is a minor. She could have gone with her mother if she wanted to. And as I was telling Officer Hughes, as I was speaking and saying,
Yes.
you know, she doesn't feel comfortable going with a male. If she would like to go with her mother,
Okay.
she can. Before we even had a chance to request her mother to come out, he was approaching her, going after her, and closed the gap and grabbed hold of her arm and started twisting it around her back.
Okay. So what would you like done now?
And total in violations of the I Care Act.
Okay.
Y'all have not respected our citizens' rights or anything.
Okay.
You're in violation. He's in violation of policy.
Did the officers inform you on why they were here to begin with?
Investigating some physical altercation that didn't happen.
Okay, but we don't know that. When we come up
So
to you, we don't know
that
what
don't
the
mean
situation is.
shit.
Actually, it does, because we need to make sure that.
Yeah, and we have the right not to say anything. You continue your investigation. You go back to the caller to get more details or to figure out what the hell's going on. You don't turn around and put a 12-year-old minor as a male cop in handcuffs.
Well, we are going to detain everybody involved until, like you said, we are able to talk to and speak to the person.
Oh,
who
so
did call
so
us.
you just think it's okay to unlawfully detain and arrest children
I don't believe
without a
it's
crime?
unlawful.
What law then? What law says you can separate like that?
Right now, we're not enforcing a criminal offense because we're still investigating.
Okay.
I understand and respect the fact that you don't.
So therefore, AKA suspicion.
You don't
The
want to
suspicion,
talk.
a misdemeanor, a felony,
We
is a traffic violation,
We just
then you
had-
don't have anything to put handcuffs on anyone.
We do have a detention.
What probable cause? What reasonable or takeable suspicion of a crime to arrest her? She is currently under arrest over there.
You do not want me to speak. That's fine.
I want the sergeant.
Okay, then she can go ahead. That's not the sergeant. Our sergeant is coming. If you want to speak to her, that's fine. But as of right now, everybody's going to sit.
I'm tired of being harassed. And that's what happened with the so-called caller. It was a harassment.
Okay, so we don't know that. I've never met you. I don't think Mr. Hughes has ever met you. We don't even know the caller because we haven't even gotten to that point yet. But if somebody...
You should know the caller before you come out.
Actually, we go to the immediate...
Okay. Okay, so Austin PD believes in swatting people, basically.
No.
That's what you're doing. This is technically what you're doing, is swatting us.
Swatting means that people are using us to do that to other people.
Exactly.
That's not us doing it.
What?
We are going to respond to a disturbance.
So you believe that it's okay for people to be swatted?
No, I don't. And
Unlawful. Well, then what are you doing? Then what are they doing? Showing up, putting handcuffs on my daughter, putting hands on my daughter with no lawful reason. Just because she didn't want to go off with a male officer. Wait a minute, there's a female officer on scene. She could have went with my daughter. But he refused to even, his ego got the better of him. And didn't want to switch out. Him talking to a male. Oh wait, I'm 6'2" and almost 400 pounds. And his ego, I can go after a female, but I'm not going to stand up to the male that's twice my size. Even though he's a disabled veteran. Because he's a chicken shit, he's a coward. So it's okay to go after my daughter, but you couldn't stand there and question me and be the one talking to me. Male to male.
So at this point, is it just the sergeant that you want to speak with?
Yeah, because I want to file a complaint on Hughes.
Well, perfect. You can talk to Sergeant Trumka, okay?
Because that is totally, I'd hate to be his girlfriend or wife or whatever, or significant other. Because that is totally roid raging. That is totally aggressiveness, escalation that was uncalled for. Literally, I sat there and said 3 times, she's a minor, before he put his hands on her the first time.
Okay.
So he already knew she was a minor and that she wanted a parent present. Which was obvious. She was even saying so. She didn't want to move from near where her parent was present, because I was sitting in my scooter right there.
Where is...
My wife is inside the RV.
Okay, is she okay?
Because, yeah, we have a dog that likes to bark. She's not aggressive, but she's a brindle in color Tennessee treeing walker.
Okay.
Tennessee treeing brindle, which is sometimes mistaken for pit bulls because of the brindle coloring. And with officers like Hughes, who are such a coward, my wife is afraid that people like him might shoot our dog.
Okay, so she's in there with...
Even though she likes to bark, she can be somewhat protective, but she's mostly just a licker and a lover.
Okay, I think I heard it when I was coming out. The dog. So at this point, you just want to talk to the sergeant to make a formal complaint, and then...
And to have my daughter released, because there's no crime here.
Have we even gotten to figure out what was going on?
I haven't, but Officer Willis may have. I don't know what she's done.
Okay, and then you said apparently somebody's calling harassing you?
Yes.
We know who the caller is?
I don't know. He said.
No, I'm saying...
Hughes has made 2.
You said...
I saw a person on their phone hovering around, and it looked like if anything, they worked for CPI, CPS, whatever you want to call them, BCFS.
Okay, so have you encountered this before? People calling police on you?
Yes.
Okay. Is it the same thing, causing a disturbance? Is that what they say?
Oh, last time my wife yelled help because she requested help because of a bag split, and she came back from Family Dollar. You know how they made the bags cheaper these days?
Yes.
And she had it overloaded. It was laundry day. She came back, the bag ripped. She yelled help. Somebody called the cops on us back in December, and we've had CPS up our ass ever since.
Okay.
Because Officer Giglio showed up and filed a false report.
Okay. So is that why the hesitation to talk to us today was?
Our rights are our rights to begin with.
Of course.
And my daughter, because of that shit and all the drama with that, because my wife, I have disabilities. My wife has disabilities. My wife has cancer. She's dying. She's on me and her are both on borrowed time to begin with.
Sorry to hear that.
Okay, my wife was supposed to have been dead before our daughter was even born. Okay, heck, or at least in a wheelchair. She's up and walking and everything else now. But she's been having a lot of trouble lately because the stress has been causing her tumors to spread. And she's had a couple of mini strokes recently.
Is there something that we should check on her today about because of all
No,
this?
she's already been seen.
Okay, because she was the one who called again. Well,
Yes, my wife called because I requested her call because of what Officer Hughes did.
Okay.
I told her to call her attorney because I have an attorney, she has an attorney, our daughter has an attorney, Mr. Aaron Azell,
Okay.
for the existing case.
Okay. So what we can do?
And conveniently, this is before another court hearing on Monday.
Is that involving us or?
The December 27th
okay.
incident that was dismissed without prejudice in February, but now they're trying to force us into services.
Okay.
They brought a separate case for forcing into services using the same stuff from December 27th. They've totally been violating due process and every other Texas state law and family court.
Okay.
But what do you expect for a judge that's only been on the bench for less than a year?
Well, as far as today goes, what we can do, you can file your formal complaint. We can get your information.
Oh, I will. I already got Officer Golden in trouble.
Information.
What is that, badge 8900?
And then you can follow up that. Okay. But as far as we will call the caller and see what it is that they were calling for. And do you believe that was the same person who called us the last time? Because we can check.
I don't know who called the first time.
And again, we will follow up on that. But once that is done and concluded.
As far as I know, it was Officer Golden himself and civvies that was going by that called the first time in December. Because at that point, I had already done an IA, I had already done OPS report on him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd already done a report on him at that point.
Okay.
And it was in the process of being transferred to IA at that time, and it did get to IA, and IA did investigate and found all because he failed to identify.
The officer.
Officer Golden, badge number 8900.
Okay.
Well, he didn't so much fail to identify as he treated it like me asking for his name and badge number was reason for him to draw down and shoot me because he considered it a personal threat.
Okay.
That was his exact words.
Okay.
He considers someone asking for his name and badge number a personal threat. I'm an ordained minister. If I ask for a name and badge number, you never know. If it's a good encounter, I might be praying that you have safe duty.
Well, it is our
safe shift.
policy to give it to you anyways, and that's why they're clearly displayed.
Yes, the Eye Care Act requires such things,
Okay. What is?
which I have read the Austin Eye Care
What
Act.
is your last name?
I refuse to give it.
In order to do the complaint, I need your information so I can put it on the form so they can contact you.
Officer Hughes, go over.
We can go over the floor.
Because I don't want retaliation. There is a
That's fine.
huge fear of retaliation because of what's happened already.
I get your hesitation, sir. We can come over here if you're comfortable. You okay? Last name?
Miller.
First name?
Eric, Echo, Romeo, India, Charlie.
And then phone number?
It's already on record with OPA and IA.
Okay, I can't have access to those records.
If you put in 6822 Onion Creek Drive, they will pull this address. They will have the record,
Okay,
and that's all that counts.
that's fine. Mr. Miller, do you want to give me your birthday?
That's already part. It's already.
It's on 6822 Onion Creek.
Yes, from a
And you said this-
from a prior call from the December 27th incident.
I will look that up. Do you know what that incident was labeled, titled? Disturbance, family disturbance.
I don't know what Gilio put in her report.
Okay, it was an email?
Officer Gilio, yes. Or Giglio if you want to do the southern version, but yeah.
Okay.
The New York version, the proper Italian pronunciation or Italian Greek pronunciation is Gilio.
Okay.
Giglio.
It was December 27th.
Was that incident,
then
and I refused to give her ID too. That's what part of the incident there.
We can find her.
Because of the whole, but it's all linked with the Bender incident and stuff, like the original call for Bender.
Officer Bender?
Yeah.
Okay.
Back in November and end of November, early December.
Okay.
When him and Golden pardon me, I forget whether it was Bender or Golden. The one that was badge number 8900.
Okay.
That part I remember right off, and I have there was Golden and Bender were both in the patrol unit doing a double, together on patrol.
Okay.
If I remember right, Bender was driving and did all the talking.
Okay.
Golden was in the passenger seat, sitting back, trying to hide like he wasn't being seen.
Okay.
At the end of the interaction, which I think was a BS interaction to begin with, I asked for names and badge numbers for both of them. Bender gave me his, no problem. But to be honest, because it was unmemorable, because he was, Bender's the name. I remember the name.
Yeah.
Just because of Futurama,
Okay.
the robot.
Yeah.
That part was mostly uneventful as far as I was concerned. The interaction wasn't even worth reporting because it could have been an unlawful interaction. It could have been
But it occurred here.
It occurred over here in this area,
Okay.
and but it was I didn't care who was right or who was wrong on the cause for the interaction.
Okay, and that's the one with Bender
and Golden.
Okay.
And that November, December, it was a cold, rainy night, and basically they made me walk out in the middle of the street barefoot.
Okay.
Literally they were pulled closer to the curb, and then they pulled out to the middle of the street.
Oh. Okay.
In the cold, wet rain,
Mm-hmm.
seeing a disabled veteran come walking out to them.
Oh. Okay.
Which I thought was BS, but I didn't even report that much too much.
Yeah.
No, it was basically the attitude of Golden when I asked for,
I know Bender. Yeah, I'm familiar.
Golden, they're both about the same age. They're both,
Okay.
I'm getting older. I'm 49. I just turned 49, but they both appeared in my mind's eye older than me.
Okay.
Okay, it's hard to, this is Texas, it's hard to
I
tell
think you
anymore.
guys all look
I mean,
like
my
babies
daughter
to
is
me.
12 and she looks like she's 18 almost because of her,
I would not have guessed 12. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
6/9, 2012, born in Syracuse,
they
New
all
York.
look like babies to me, so.
As you get older, they all look like,
Yes, they do. Yes, they
but anyways,
do. November, you didn't feel, it wasn't too memorable? You not really?
the interaction was, who was right, who was wrong,
Mm-hmm.
neither here nor there.
Okay.
Not actionable in any way.
Okay.
But at the end, I was polite. Like I said, who was right, who was wrong, didn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked for both of their names and badge numbers. Golden popped up with an attitude because he was like trying to hide, like he wasn't part of it. Don't know who, I'm not here type of thing.
Okay.
Hide, I mean, literally like this in the back, back of his seat.
Yes.
Okay.
I've seen they do that.
Hiding behind, trying to hide behind the B pillar.
Okay.
Okay. I saw him. I was like, and your name, name and badge number, officer? Officer Golden, 8900. Clear, you turn on the red light, pit fast. I was like, what's your problem with giving your name and badge number? Well, I consider it a personal affront, a personal assault. That if somebody asks for my name and badge number, there's going to be trouble.
Oh. Okay.
That,
I remembered that.
because that means someone asks for his name and badge number, that type of escalation, like what Hughes just did with my daughter, gonna get somebody killed. So I had my wife call back to 911, even though they're out here, to make sure a supervisor was requested on scene.
She did. She did. Both of us. We both came out.
Because him putting his hands on my daughter, she's still over there in handcuffs.
Well, first we're kind of paying attention to you, and we're not even doing what we.
That's how many officers, and one of them can at least take her out of cuffs. She's sitting over there nice and safe. There's how many officers around here? Trust me, look at how big she is. She don't run, she waddles.
Okay.
Okay, she don't move fast.
Okay.
That's part of the reason why I was happy to finally get blessed with that scooter, is to help encourage her to go out here on the trails, getting her to walk about a mile a day and slowly increasing her.
Okay, well, how about this? I will have those female officers talk to her, figure out what's going on. We are going to make a phone call to see who called us and see what the deal with that person was, because they did say it was physical. Okay, so that's why we got here kind of quick.
I kicked at the ground by my daughter because there's a cat that when it was a kitten,
I think I saw that one.
when it was a kitten,
Yeah.
we tried to take care of it and protect it from the elements, plus it's a dog park.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
dogs
okay.
are kitties, okay.
Okay, so you kicked like the ground and.
I kicked the ground next to my daughter.
Okay. Okay, maybe they
Because
saw
she has been
something
told
else.
multiple times to leave the cat alone. We took care of it. It decided it wanted to get out and get pregnant
Okay.
and not catch mice that have found their way into our RV.
And bring out babies.
And we're trying to encourage the cat to move on, go find
Okay.
somewhere else to live.
Okay. Okay.
But my daughter
so
keeps.
that's what happened was the.
I yelled at my daughter for holding the cat
Okay. And had we.
and lying to me about it. I mean, literally, I come around. Did you just have the cat? Were you just
She
messing with
told
it?
you
No.
Okay.
Okay, corporal punishment. Okay, I didn't have my cane at the time, so balance is an issue.
Okay.
My kick. I'm not trying to be assaultive, officer.
You're fine.
Okay, I'm gonna tap your rank
Okay.
if you don't mind, about how hard my kick was with my
Okay.
toes.
Okay.
Back.
So somebody probably walking by.
Nowhere near even a corporal punishment.
Okay. Okay. So.
And yes,
but
it was
then
a female that looked like she works for an agency.
Were the officers even able to get this conversation
No.
out yet?
No, because they didn't need that conversation to begin with, because it was
Okay.
nothing.
Well, and again.
And it doesn't matter, but it was nothing. It's not. It doesn't rise to the level of anything, and it's called the Fifth Amendment.
Okay, but the situation.
You have
is
the
if
right
you
to
would've-
remain silent, and I don't care. The Fifth and Sixth Amendment right to counsel
Okay.
when being questioned by law enforcement.
Okay.
So,
But
yet they were denying my daughter counsel or a parent or legal guardian.
was your
during their
wife when this
questioning.
was happening when you and your daughter.
She
were
was
talking?
inside when they were yelling at
She
her.
didn't see anything.
Oh, when that? Yeah, my
Well,
wife.
you and your daughter.
Yeah, I told my wife that I got onto her for holding because I go right after it happened.
But she didn't see it.
No, she was in the house laying down.
Okay, so and again, whoever.
And my
called
daughter
us-
will tell you. I mean, there's no bruising or anything
and-
else.
and
There's no.
we would have figured that out if we were able to talk to.
But
you
the thing
guys.
is, it didn't even need to get that far because it was nothing to start with. Just because someone says something, okay, I could drive past your house if I knew where it was. I don't. But public records are a different story. But you know, and see you yell at your dog, your cat, your kids, your significant other,
And you can call the police.
and say whatever the hell I
I
want.
saw a man yelling at a woman,
And
and here's the address.
basically it's swatting at that point.
And police would have showed up.
Yeah.
They would have.
How many?
We always come in twos. I don't know what other departments have, but we always come in two.
But I mean, ultimately,
Yeah.
I mean,
So, and again, I can tell you just alone today, we've had probably a dozen calls of people telling us, I saw this, I saw that, I saw this, and then now they're hitting each other, and we still have to go.
and the weather is getting hot.
It is.
Tempers flare up a
It
little
is.
bit. When not everybody has air conditioning, or you're just cool at night, you're hot in the day,
But
and you're
let me-
going back and
Let
forth.
me ask you a question, Mr. Miller. Let's say that one call that a woman or a man was actually getting hit and hurt, and we didn't show up because we thought it was swatting, then what would have happened? That one
I'm not
call-
saying don't show up.
Okay.
I'm not saying not to show up.
Okay. And
I'm saying escalation upon showing up. When someone doesn't want to talk, you don't just put them in handcuffs and you know, all but, I mean, he was about ready to tackle her to the ground.
Okay. Were you recording at that time?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have that card?
I recorded the moment I saw them back there. I tried to get my body cam working.
She's out of handcuffs already. So I guess they talked to her and got her side.
But I mean, literally, so a parent can't discipline their child for picking up a
And
stray
then-
cat
and again,
and then sending them in to go sanitize their hands afterwards.
I don't think you've recognized any officer here. None of us know you. None of us know her.
It does.
We don't know. And I know to you it doesn't matter, but to us, if somebody
It's still
calls,
it's a Friday night.
we just have to check.
And yeah,
that's
but
it.
there's checking. But when officers are basically told,
I know.
I mean, Officer Willis was demanding in violation of 3802 my identification.
Okay.
Give me your name. I need it for the report. No, you don't.
Okay.
That's you know, the I Care Act states that it's not needed because it reinstates the Texas Penal Code 3802 regarding failure to identify. Since this was not a traffic stop,
Okay. I can go with that.
we were already parked. There was no traffic infraction.
And if we would have been able to at least speak to you, you could have said, I'm not going to tell you by name, but here's what happened, and I don't know why that person's
I
calling
didn't-
us. We
But the
would have
thing
been out
is,
here.
well, see, the thing is,
We would have been out
my
here.
wife was the one outside at the time. My daughter was inside going to the restroom.
Okay. Okay.
Officer Willis automatically assumed it was my wife that I had the altercation with.
Okay. And we just wanted to make sure she's okay, you're okay.
I didn't even have to
Everyone's
admit that my
okay.
daughter was here. She could have stayed inside.
Probably. Yes, sir.
But Officer Hughes thinks, okay, he might as well basically, he could just walk in and drag us out of our home
Okay.
without a warrant. She was at the curtilage of our home. She was standing on the ramps that go right up into the door when he assaulted her.
Okay.
That would be considered curtilage. Yes, we are on a public street, but there's this public sidewalk. But an RV, under Texas law, is considered, a motorhome is considered a home under Texas law.
Okay. And the ramp is too?
It would be considered the porch.
Okay. Well,
Just like, because if the steps
I'm
weren't,
gonna tell you, I
the
never
steps are
looked that one up.
the steps are broken. The
Okay.
steps are broken.
okay.
So the ramp functions as steps, especially because of my disabilities.
Okay. So, Mr. Miller, let's just come full circle here. So now we know there wasn't a disturbance because you and I were at least able to talk.
The biggest disturbance, the biggest assault on my daughter was Hughes.
Still have the complaint, and we are still going to work that through and send it up to IA. My sergeant's here. Do you want to talk to her too, or am I sufficient enough to get this complaint started for you? She's right here. I mean, it's not going to be. a big deal.
Call her over. I'd rather discuss it all with you. Have you relate? I have
relay
COPD and out of breath, and
You're fine, sir.
I do have some minor memory. Officers, I do have a knife in the basket. I'm not going to the basket. I'm just staying up front here.
So what's up?
I do have a knife in the basket of the scooter
Okay.
and some other tools that can be. I'm just going up front. I need to sit down and grab a drink that's right here. So I'm just letting you know that that's where those items are. So that way there's no misunderstandings.
No, I
Okay.
appreciate it. I appreciate it. Hey, sir, what's your first name? Just your first name. 'Cause I can't say a name.
I already gave it to the corporal.
Okay. Well, I'm Detective Perez.
You can call me Reverend.
Reverend. Okay.
Yes, I am an ordained minister.
Awesome. So my name is Rosie Perez, and I'm a detective with the Child Abuse Unit. So I just so happen to be working patrol tonight, and the best thing about this is that I can kind of talk to everybody and just figure out generally what happened.
I got into my daughter for picking up a cat
Picking up a cat.
that she's been told multiple times not to pick up.
And why are you doing that, man? I'm gonna treat you with respect, 100%, because I think you deserve it. Okay.
I haven't been getting it from APD or any other agency in Travis County. Heck, I don't even get it from my own brother here in this county.
I mean, I can't speak for yours, but I can tell you that I'm trying to help get some kind of resolution for tonight, at least here. So you said I should call you Reverend. So I'll do that, but let me ask you. So she was picking up a cat she's not supposed to be picking up.
Yes, and I came around the corner because I was working on verifying some lights work and trying to diagnose where I've got to shorten the wiring.
Yeah.
So that way I have proper stuff for the trailer. And I came around the corner from doing that, and she had already been told multiple times by both me and her mother to leave the cat alone because we're trying to get that cat to move on
Okay.
from us. Because I got pregnant, we don't need kittens, we don't need any of that.
And you have a dog, so that they usually don't get along.
Well, when it was a kitten, we allowed it in to protect it because it was before the winter.
Oh yeah.
And being a dog park nearby, and it was a little kitten, and you had a good heart, and let it in, took care of it a little bit. Then it decided to go out and become a mama. And we've been telling our daughter over and over, leave the cat alone.
Okay.
Now, I didn't have my cane. I told this to the corporal that, I told my wife when she came out that I got onto our daughter for picking up the cat. I came around the corner. I saw the cat picked up, like holding on to it. I asked her, were you just messing with the cat? No. Okay, no balance. I kicked a couple of times, and we're talking. I mean, that's about how hard, because she was sitting on the ground. I just bought her a brand new camp chair from Academy Sports a couple of days ago, basically with what was basically my birthday money. Okay.
Yeah.
She had no reason to be on the ground. She's 12. She's stubborn. She's hit that preteen stubbornness. There's nothing. It doesn't rise to even the level of corporal punishment.
Yeah. So.
I mean, corporal punishment is a belt or a paddle.
Yeah.
I grew up yeah, there was nothing. She got up, she went into the bathroom, and that was it.
Okay. All right.
But I didn't even have to mention even any of that because it doesn't rise to the level of a crime or anything based upon someone calling, and I have the right to remain silent. I don't have to say anything to anybody.
I'm glad you know you're right. So, Reverend, but let me let you know, right? Like, you also know that community caretaking is super important, right? And it sounds like you're super reasonable. So, if you see something happening to a child,
It's one thing to show up and investigate. It's another thing to show up and...
why are you yelling at me?
There's a generator over there. I'm making sure I'm heard clearly.
I hear you.
Okay?
Okay.
I mean, I have a deep voice to begin with, but I'm making sure I'm heard and understood
I
clearly.
got you. I'm listening.
That, and I am recording.
That makes sense.
And make sure everybody, make sure their devices can hear me as well. Okay. Officer Hughes. Yeah, my wife went back to the corner of the trailer with him. My daughter did not leave that wooden ramp right there.
Okay.
She did not want to go with him. She did not feel comfortable going with him alone back near the back of the trailer. And I mentioned that she has the right to have I mentioned she was a minor multiple times. In fact, if anyone, you should be investigating anyone for child abuse right now, is Officer Hughes. I told him she's a minor multiple times. She's 12. She wants the parent present. And I sat there and said, and if you don't want me back there, you can have her mom go back there with her, which is inside the RV, before she could even have the chance to turn around and ask, or for me to try and turn around and ask. He closed the gap, grabbed her arm, and started to place her in handcuffs for no crime. To a 12-year-old female. How hard, when there was already a female officer here, Officer Willis, questioning me, to swap roles, him take over questioning me, and her go with my daughter. I even suggested that before he put his hands on my daughter. And he grabbed a hold of it because she kept backing up away from him, scared.
So it sounds like, hold on a second, it sounds like your concerns you addressed with Corporal Prado.
And hopefully the sergeant as well.
They can address those.
Well, if you're you're supposedly a detective.
I am, and I'm looking at the incident that happened that brought us here, right? I'm trying to
Which
figure out
was nothing.
Hold on. And I'll admit sometimes things get blown out of proportion, right? But it still doesn't mean that we don't come and try and figure out what happened.
It doesn't give the right of officers to lay their hands on people with no cause.
So,
with no laws being broken.
Clarify for me just one thing, Reverend. So your daughter was sitting on the ground.
When it originally happened, she was sitting on the ground, literally in between the feet of those two officers.
Okay, just on the sidewalk.
Right on the sidewalk.
Uh-huh.
And she had picked up the cat. Apparently tossed the cat a hot dog or something from her dinner. A leftover hot dog. Okay. Or I don't know, the wife could have done that. I don't know. I didn't see who tossed the hot dog. But I came around from the front, I've got batteries and, multimeter and stuff out from testing lights.
Right.
To verify they still work and didn't have a short in them. One I recently ordered from Amazon hasn't been used yet. Apparently I got wiring issues at the back end of the RV.
Yeah.
So, but I was testing that, realized they worked. I came around. She's already been told multiple times over the last 3 months or more, leave the cat alone.
So what did the contact look like?
Me unbalanced, shoving my foot, I kicked more of the ground than I did her.
Okay. And what part of her body did you make contact with?
Right here. I just barely, literally, like maybe one toe was able to make contact. And like I said, and it wasn't, I had, because of my disabilities, I have no strength. Like I never was a punter for the Cowboys or anything like that.
Better pick a better team, but yeah.
Well,
so
ever since she was 3 years old, she's been so big that people said she'd make a great linebacker for the Cowboys.
Hey, so let me ask you this: if we leave just things as they are, right? Which is, and I have Officer Willis document. Hold on one second. Let me ask the question. What is the rest of the night gonna look like?
Our family getting ready to go to bed, watch TV, go to bed, just standard nighttime routines.
Okay. So, my question, I guess, is: should we have concerns for further issues tonight?
No.
Okay.
It wasn't even a concern to begin with.
Okay. Now she's only 12, and you've mentioned that, right?
She's 12, almost 13, but sometimes she acts like she's grown. She's got her mother's attitude. She's got that New York attitude.
I have 2 teens, so I can
And
understand.
Okay, wait till you're next to her. She's as big as you are.
I have been over there, but let me ask you this: do you mind if I talk to her briefly, just make sure she's not injured?
Willis has already been talking to her. She had no problem talking to the female officer.
Well,
It was Hughes that was the problem.
I am a female, but Willis, she wasn't super cooperative even when I went over there with Willis.
Well, would you be if you got put in handcuffs and manhandled by a man?
Hold on, I had to take her out of handcuffs, so she's not in hand. As soon as I went over there, I had to take her out of cuffs.
But wouldn't you be a bit apprehensive of talking to people who have your best interest at heart that treat you like that?
I'm just asking the question. You clarify
I prefer nobody else talk to her and you let her be for the night. Since there's no parent present and no lawyer present to protect her rights, because obviously I can't even protect her rights. Aren't even protected right here on our doorstep.
Reverend, can you get her mom to walk over there with me? Because she's saying no one can hold the dog. I would love to have her mom present. I'm trying to do my best to assist in this situation.
That would require me going in.
I mean,
Yeah, that's the thing.
you want me to be as helpful as I can be, but I need some help.
See if I can figure something out here.
Thank you.
No guarantees. I can try.
Thank you.
The dog is aggressive, lovable. She's not aggressive,
I hear you. I believe
biting.
you. I'm sure you can handle it.
The only way I've ever gotten teeth is because she was playing too much, and like with her raccoon right there. Literally, my daughter was standing right here when he closed the gap, grabbed her, and started. I'm sorry, I know we do that. Drama. My wife was just fed up with it.
Yeah.
Our daughter has been, she wants to be more hands off about the situation right now.
She did what?
My wife wants to be more hands off about the situation right now.
Yeah. Okay. Let me talk to Willis and those guys.
I mean, I already had my daughter outside and not carrying control, so whatever. It is what it is.
What does that mean?
Her rights have already been violated.
I mean,
So
we can show up to a scene and make sure everybody's okay. We're allowed to do that.
yeah,
So
officers are allowed to basically show up to a scene and take minor female children and yank them and put them in torture cuffs and
Reverend,
run off with them.
Reverend, those concerns you have addressed with purple.
Yeah, and I'm saying it here in front of you. Oh, you want to be ignorant of the fact that your officers do that shit.
Absolutely
Okay.
not. Absolutely not. And you're talking to the wrong detective in regards to that, because I actually grew up in this city. And it's super important that we serve and protect the way that it's intended to be. And I've heard everything that you said, and I'm trying
Well,
to do
Officer
the best
Hughes
I
violated
can.
the eye care Act and the
Hold on a second.
Constitution, but that don't matter.
Let me assist them, and then if we need to make further calls to other agencies, we'll do that.
Officers,
Yes, sir.
may I get your name and badge numbers for the recording, please?
Yes, sir.
All right. And yours, Mr. Basketball Player?
No, I go play basketball.
Oh, you more of a football, I mean soccer person? I can tell by the accent.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you have that accent that, yeah. You'd rather be across the creek over there at them fields.
Absolutely.
So what part are you from?
St. Thomas.
St. Thomas? I made it down to St. Martin
Oh, okay.
with the Navy.
You want me to put this somewhere for you?
You just, I got it.
Okay.
Hey,
got it.
Reverend, so this is what we're gonna do. I'm just gonna have them write a report that the incident happened, okay? What everybody said, and we have to write something anyways.
You can write that basically I got out of my daughter for picking up an animal that wasn't supposed to fit.
You told me. That's
Yeah, it was.
it. Okay.
Well, I'm looking it up.
We're
Are you gonna, officer?
Every.
Where's the sergeant? I wanted to talk to the sergeant regarding my complaint. I talked to
Well, then-
the corporal, but I didn't get.
This is your daughter right here. I mean, I'm gonna go ahead and, I'm having her come back over here so that you have her. I didn't ask her any further questions, okay?
Is she released from your custody and care?
She was never in my custody and care, but here she is.
Go ahead back in now, Ursula. I think they're done with you.
Are you asking for a sergeant?
Yeah, I want. Even though the corporal said she was going to relay it, I wanted to talk to the sergeant.
She's aware of 480 already told her. He wanted to tell her
It's all a bunch of nonsense. Because she didn't want to talk to a male cop who came on super aggressive. Was you on? have a blessed evening. I know it's the weekend, so y'all be safe this weekend. I saw the bitch that called. I saw her when she called.
Who?
Some skinny bitch that looked like she worked for CPS.
I don't care. That's between you and her. I told you one more time. I'm done. Say I'm playing. I'm not. You ever have to say I'm playing? I have played.
Yep.
And I'm not the one with my own phone problem. I'm the one I know fucking schizo. See what I'm saying? Also, I need my headset and I need to read box. Be right down the left. Right on the left. And my headset. Be right there. Right down the left.
Mama's already gone. What the hell is that? Oh, your headset. She's got your headset, honey.
Don't fucking call me honey. That's up tonight for fucking door. I'm done. You thought I was fucking flying? Tell the Jew, tell the cop.
Yeah, okay.
Tell it all.
It's my fault. It's all my fault. You yell and scream at her all the time, but all right.
Yell